What's up, everyone? Today we're diving into the Bob's Burgers Season 15 finale, and while Bob gets pitted against his family for a while, viewers probably won't be shocked to find out who wins in the end. But hey, with Bob's Burgers already renewed for Season 16, we know the Belcher family still has plenty more adventures to share with the show's large fan base. Now, InsomniBob, that's Season 15, Episode 22 remains a big moment for the show. We're talking about the 298th episode here, which is absolutely incredible when you think about it. And as the Great North, Bob's Burgers' sister series, faces potential cancellation, the original show's longevity seems more impressive than ever. Sure, Bob's Burgers may not have been around for as long as The Simpsons yet, but it's built a huge following and established that unique tone and style that makes it stand out in the packed world of adult animated comedies. After Season 15 flipped an earlier storyline, InsomniBob returned to the show's core themes for a really life-affirming plot. So why can't Bob sleep? The episode kicks off with Bob struggling to sleep. While Linda snores contentedly beside him, Bob stays awake and anxious until he finally decides to start experimenting in the kitchen. Here's where it gets interesting. Bob's got celebrity chef Skip Marooch's book with him, and he's not just making his usual burger of the day. No, he's attempting to create a burger of the year. The result? This gastronomic innovation involving anchovies and pineapple, which really clues viewers into the possibility that Bob's nighttime cooking sessions aren't necessarily as inspired as he thinks they are. Though honestly, this wasn't even close to Bob's riskiest culinary stretch. Remember the pilot episode where the restaurant got accused of using human meat in their burgers? Yeah, anchovies and pineapples suddenly don't seem so bad. Bob starts cooking at night because he feels like he has more freedom from his family, and therefore more access to his creativity when he's alone with the cookbook. But as time goes on, Linda begins taking offense at this lack of quality time, while Teddy grows a little creeped out by Bob's increasingly unhinged behavior. The less Bob sleeps, the more obsessive he becomes. Meanwhile, the kids get tasked with throwing a jar of mushy pickles in the trash. But being kids, they soon start amusing themselves by throwing them against the wall instead, seeing how high they can toss them. Without even realizing it, they accidentally end up making a mural of their father in the process. When Linda sees this artwork, she mistakenly assumes the kids are expressing their distance from their father through this piece of avant-garde art. The kids, being smart enough to avoid getting in trouble, play along with this theory. Linda decides that desperate times call for desperate measures and convinces Bob to take melatonin, the real solution. But here's the thing: Bob hides the pill instead of actually taking it. So Linda ends up chasing him throughout the apartment, trying to catch him in the act. She eventually gives up on her quest to stop Bob's nighttime cooking chaos, so it takes a different kind of intervention to halt his obsession. This is where the episode really shines and reminds us why the best episodes of Bob's Burgers center on family rather than food. Bob starts hallucinating these late-night conversations with Marooch, and the chef begins prying into the real reasons behind Bob's cooking renaissance. When Bob admits that he wants to have a tangible legacy like Marooch's, the chef reminds him that he already has his own restaurant. But more importantly, Bob then realizes he also has his family. In a hilarious twist, Marooch insists that he meant Bob's restaurant was his real legacy, since he didn't really know his own family. But by then, Bob has come to his senses and realizes something crucial. He doesn't need time away from his wife and kids to make life-defining memories, because his time with them is exactly those memories. This theme that Bob's happy family is his life's work is something the show has returned to repeatedly, even as early as the pilot. And here's the key: Linda's attempts to slip him melatonin had to fail, because this realization was something Bob needed to come to on his own. If his wife had successfully stopped his nighttime trips to the kitchen, Bob would never have understood how much he missed her. What this means for Season 16. From bringing back Bob's father Big Bob to focusing numerous episodes on Tina's struggles in school and in the Thunder Girls, Season 15 has been all about family. Now sure, the same could arguably be said about most seasons of the show, but there are plenty of other episodes that focus on life outside the Belcher family unit. Think about it: Season 14's The Amazing Ruddy centered on regular-sized Ruddy's moment in the spotlight and barely even included the Belchers. Season 6's Stand By Gene was so focused on Zeke, Jimmy Jr., Tammy, Daryl, and the kids that Bob and Linda barely appeared. In contrast, Season 15 was a family affair through and through. The significance of InsomniBob could be that this season finale is subtly hinting at the thematic direction of the show's next season. The series is called Bob's Burgers, not The Belchers, so season 16 could focus on the family's restaurant more than its predecessor did. The restaurant played a surprisingly small role in season 15, except for this finale, even though it's historically been the center of some of the show's most important plots. Compared to The Simpsons, Bob's Burgers really foregrounds the family's financial struggles, and the restaurant perfectly represents this. Both the Bob's Burgers movie and the show's pilot focused on the threat of the restaurant closing. So having season 16 center on the restaurant's future would make a lot of sense given the history of the series and the themes explored in InsomniBob. Thanks for watching. If you liked this video, make sure to like and subscribe for more.